This is Taya reporting for the Inequality Watch. I'm here at the No Kings protest in Baltimore, Maryland, where demonstrators are challenging not just one leader, but an entire system they say treats wealth and power like a birthright. Their message is both political and personal, that democracy should serve people, not coronate kings. But let's listen to the protesters in their own words.
Just tired of having our personal rights eroded. We're seeing really bad bashing on First Amendment, and we just can't be putting up with that. That's what this country's built on, and we got to protect it. And if that means forcing out folks that are elected, so be it.
So there are folks like Speaker Johnson who say protests like this are actually divisive. How would you respond to that?
No, because we're all here for our personal rights. That's the one thing we're here for. So whether you're a Democrat, or Republican, Independent, it doesn't matter. You want your personal freedoms that our Constitution gives us. And so that's what we're here today protecting.
And my last question for you would be this. If you wanted to see accountability, if you wanted to see something result from this protest, what would you hope to see? What change would you like to see?
Our number one change is to see our government open. We want to see it come back to work. We want to see the elected officials from all states in their position. And so we also, then that'll give us the opportunity to then see the Epstein files. So it's kind of like a win-win-win. But Speaker Johnson needs to be vacated from that seat. And so let's make that happen.
Okay, and let me just pull back so I can
Yes.
take a look at your...
Thank you.
This is what Antifa looks like.
Everyday people that like you and me that love Bluey.
So Steve, what brings you out to the No Kings protest today?
Well, I just think that the nation needs to rise up against what's happening in Washington and spreading everywhere else. And it takes people to make a statement that this is wrong, what's going on.
This protest, what would you want the result to be? What policy change would you want to see?
Okay, the result I think I would love to see is the politicians, the general congressmen and senators see what their constituents are doing and how much they're destroying lives in this country, and that they need to be voted out.
Well, I've been concerned since January, obviously, with everything that's happening, and what was forecasted that might be a problem is even worse, and it's time for action, civic action, political action, as many different kinds of actions as we can get. I come from a family of immigrants that came over here about 300, 400 years ago and helped establish the original Constitution. And my family's been involved in civil service, whatever, leadership for many, many years. And democracy is something that every generation has to revitalize. And it's my turn to be out here because we're in trouble.
I think there's a really thin line between democracy and tyranny, and it's one of these moments where everybody who likes democracy, that likes two-party democracy, needs to come out and make a stand. It might already be too late, but it's important to let Trump know that we're not going to be bullied into silence and compliance.
Do you think the Republicans are somewhat anti-democratic in the way they characterize this protest, being, anti-American and stuff like that?
Well, I think that there's a lot of heightened rhetoric on both sides these days. I do think part of the Republican Party is interested in a one-party autocracy, and that's part of 2025, and I think it's been coming down the pike really since Reagan. There's a very conservative faction of our country that has set up think tanks, and they've been creating propaganda for over 30 years, and it's a perfect storm with social media. There's a lot of people that have opinions. They don't read factual news anymore, so they pick up something on social media. They're easily persuaded, and that's a real factor in the potential demise of democracy.
Well, I was looking to attend as many of these protests as possible. I wanted to meet other people who are fed up with what's going on in Washington, and I'm tired of the anti-democracy movement that's happening. I'm very, very much in favor of supporting education and housing and health care and a whole bunch of issues that have been attacked by this government. So
there's just a lot of fear for our country. It's important to be in community with people who share the same values as you. And I think that we've all collectively had enough. Yeah.
If there is any result that you could hope for from this protest, what would you like to see? What kind of accountability or change would you like to see?
I think change starts small. It starts within our local communities. So I'm not expecting Trump to get impeached or any big, colossal event to happen because of this protest specifically. But it's happening all over the country, and everyone's local communities are suffering. So, there's something to be said about it's not just happening in Towson or Baltimore. It's happening all over the country. People have had enough, and hopefully we could just see some accountability from our elected officials who are not standing up to Trump and who are just letting this become normalized because it's not normal.
They're trying to say the protesters are violent, whatever, but then you're dressed up as a squirrel?
Isn't it such a really interesting antidote for someone to say that it's anti-American to bring this kind of whimsy to it? That's what I think is really effective, is that as we are inflatable, we are deflating the other argument, I think.
Exactly. You're a squirrel, or?
How dare you, sir? I'm a giant sloth. I don't know who you think you are.
Gentle sloth.
You've got some nerve coming up to me and not even knowing what I am.
I am so sorry. I am so sorry. My fault.
I think it would be a good idea to find out what brings a sloth out to No King's Day.
Well, I think it's so important to exercise your First Amendment rights. I happen to be an attorney and I work for Maryland Legal Aid, and it's something that's really important to me. I think we're all really upset about what's happening. I just saw a sign a second ago that just said, "Too much for one side."
You know what, Towson University, this event was actually supposed to be there, and then we were told that there were going to be somewhat invasive background checks on speakers, and there were some security concerns. Does it disappoint you that it wasn't, they weren't able to hold it on Towson campus?
That is disappointing, but what's heartening is how organized this has been, and all of us who signed up for this, we've been getting updates about where to go and what to do. So even though we're disappointed, it's still happening, and this is a demonstration for just one county. And I think it's Chris Van Hollen was here. This is really impressive, I think, for on the fly things that were changing from moment to moment. So they really keep us updated, and I appreciate it.
Do you think the fact that it had to be moved from Towson campus is an indication that the Trump administration is perhaps having a chilling effect on freedom of speech?
I think it's obvious that the Trump administration is having a chilling effect. I don't think that's any doubt. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to have a chilling effect. What's sad is that it affects some people, but what's also heartening is that the people who were in the press corps and the Pentagon were not signed the papers. The generals who were in that room would not applaud for him. So I think that we've seen some really good examples of resistance, including what's happening here today.
This is Taya and Stephen Janis reporting from Baltimore, Maryland.